The call came on a Wednesday. Not a text. An actual phone call. Which in my family only meant one of three things: someone died, someone needed money, or someone needed a favor they knew I'd say no to over text. I was at my desk, halfway through a report that was due in 2 hours, when my phone lit up. Sister calling. I almost let it go to voicemail. But guilt is a hell of a motivator, so I picked up. Hey, what's up? Owen! Thank God. Okay, so I need a huge favor. Not even a hello. Straight to business. Classic Melissa. I'm Owen, by the way. 34. Marketing manager at a mid-size firm that pays just enough to make me feel guilty for complaining. Married to Claire for 7 years this month. No kids yet, which apparently makes me public property when it comes to my sister's 3 children. Melissa is 2 years older and has perfected the art of asking for help in a way that makes you feel like a monster for even considering saying no. What kind of favor? I asked, already bracing. So, Todd and I have this work conference in Vegas next weekend. It's mandatory. Like, we could lose our bonuses if we don't go. And our usual sitter fell through last minute. Food poisoning or something. I waited. And I know it's short notice, but could you and Claire watch the kids? Just Friday night through Sunday morning. Please? I glanced at the calendar on my wall. The one with the bright red circle around next Saturday. Melissa, that's our anniversary weekend. We have a whole trip planned. Oh. She paused, but not long enough to sound genuinely apologetic. Where are you guys going? A cabin upstate. We booked it 6 months ago. A cabin? Like in the woods? Yeah. So it's not like a Paris trip or anything. I blinked. Does that matter? I'm just saying, you could reschedule that. This conference is non-negotiable. And the kids love you. It would be fun. Fun. Right. Because watching 3 kids under 10 for an entire weekend while my wife and I canceled our anniversary was the definition of fun. Melissa, I'm sorry, but we can't. We already paid for the cabin. Non-refundable. Silence. Then, seriously? Yeah. Seriously. Owen, I'm asking you for 1 weekend. 1. And you're telling me you can't help your own sister because of some cabin? It's our anniversary. You've been married for 7 years. You'll have more anniversaries. I need help now. I rubbed my temples. This conversation was going exactly where I knew it would. Why can't Mom watch them? She has that thing with her book club. What about Todd's parents? They're on a cruise. What about literally any other person you know? Owen, why are you being like this? There it was. The pivot. Suddenly I was the bad guy for not dropping everything to save her weekend. I'm not being like anything. I'm just saying no. Wow. Okay. Good to know where I rank in your priorities. Melissa. No, it's fine. I'll figure it out. Like I always do. Alone. And she hung up. I sat there, staring at my phone, knowing exactly what was coming next. 3 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Mom calling. Here we go. Owen, honey. Melissa just called me very upset. Hi, Mom. She says you won't help her with the kids this weekend. That's not what I said. I said I can't. Claire and I have plans. Plans can be changed, sweetheart. I took a breath. Mom, it's our anniversary. We've had this trip planned for months. I understand that. But family comes first. You know that. Family comes first. The golden rule in our house. The excuse for every last-minute favor, every cancelled plan, every time I was expected to drop everything because someone else needed something. Why can't you watch them? I asked. I have my book club retreat. I told you about this weeks ago. She hadn't. But arguing that point was useless. What about Dad? Your father doesn't know the first thing about watching 3 kids. You know that. Then maybe Melissa should have planned better. Mom's tone shifted. Colder. Owen Michael Harris. I raised you better than this. The full name. Always a bad sign. Mom, I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just trying to keep the plans Claire and I made. And I'm sure Claire would understand if you explained the situation. Claire already understands. She understands that we booked this trip half a year ago, and that we're going. Silence. Then, you're being very selfish right now. There it was. Selfish. The word they always used when I dared to prioritize my own life. I'm not being selfish. I'm setting a boundary. Boundaries. She said it like it was a dirty word. You young people and your boundaries. When I was your age, I didn't have the luxury of boundaries. I helped when family needed me. And I help. All the time. But this weekend I can't. Can't or won't? Does it matter? More silence. Then she sighed, long and disappointed. I'll let your sister know you're not available. But Owen? Don't be surprised if people start seeing you differently after this. And she hung up too. I set my phone down and stared at my computer screen. The report I'd been working on was still open, cursor blinking, waiting for me to finish. But all I could think about was that phrase, people start seeing you differently. Like a threat wrapped in a warning wrapped in guilt. That night, I told Claire about the calls. We were in the kitchen. She was chopping vegetables for dinner. I was sitting at the table, nursing a beer I'd opened 20 minutes ago and barely touched. So they want us to cancel our trip, she said, not looking up from the cutting board. Yep. And when you said no, they called you selfish. Yep. She set down the knife and turned to me. Are you okay? I don't know. I feel guilty. Which is stupid because I know I shouldn't. You shouldn't. But it's family. So are we, Owen. We're family too. I looked at her. 7 years. 7 years of her being patient, while my family called last minute. While my sister dropped her kids off unannounced. While my mom guilt-tripped me into missing plans because family comes first. And through it all, Claire had been understanding. Flexible. Kind. But I could see it in her eyes now. The exhaustion. The quiet frustration. You're right, I said. I know I am. She smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. And for what it's worth, I'm proud of you for saying no. Even if they hate me for it. Especially if they hate you for it. I finished my beer. She went back to chopping vegetables. And for the first time in years, I felt like maybe I'd made the right call. The next 3 days were brutal. Thursday, Melissa texted me a photo of her kids with the caption, "They're so sad Uncle Owen doesn't want to spend time with them." Manipulative? Absolutely. Effective? Also yes. Friday morning, I got a call from my dad. He never called. This was unprecedented. Your mother's very upset. I know, Dad. She thinks you don't care about the family. That's not true. Then prove it. Watch the kids. Dad, I already said no. He sighed. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Or maybe Melissa made this hard by waiting until the last second to find a sitter. That's not fair, Owen. Isn't it? He didn't have an answer for that. By Friday afternoon, the group text was alive. Mom, really disappointed in you, Owen. Melissa, thanks for nothing. And Carol, what's this I hear about you refusing to help your sister? Cousin Jenny, family is supposed to support each other. I read them all. Didn't respond. Claire saw me staring at my phone and took it out of my hand. No, she said. We're going on our trip. They can be mad. Let them. And Saturday morning we left. Packed the car, drove 3 hours north, and checked into a cabin with a view of the lake and 0 cell service. It was perfect. For about 6 hours. Then we got back in range, and my phone exploded. 47 messages. That's what was waiting for me when my phone reconnected to civilization Sunday morning. Claire and I were having coffee on the cabin deck, watching the mist rise off the lake. It was one of those perfect moments, quiet, peaceful, exactly what we'd needed. Then my phone started buzzing like it was having a seizure. I picked it up. Scrolled through the notifications. Group chat. All of them. Mom, I can't believe you actually went. Melissa, unbelievable. Melissa, do you even care that we had to cancel our trip? Mom, your sister had to pay $600 for a last-minute sitter. And Carol, This is really selfish behavior, Owen. Dad very disappointed. Melissa, $600, Owen. $600. Melissa, because you couldn't help for one weekend. Mom, I don't even recognize you anymore. I set the phone down. Picked up my coffee. Took a sip. Claire was watching me. Bad? They're mad I didn't cancel. Shocking. Melissa's saying she had to pay $600 for a sitter. Claire raised an eyebrow. And that's your problem because apparently I'm selfish for not volunteering to do it for free. Did she ask how much the cabin cost you? I laughed. Of course not. The cabin had cost us $800, non-refundable. Plus gas, food, the new hiking boots Claire bought specifically for this trip. We'd been planning this for months. Saving for it. Looking forward to it. But none of that mattered to them. I typed out a response. Deleted it. Typed another one. Deleted that too. Finally settled on. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Hit send. 3 dots appeared immediately. Melissa, that's all you have to say? Melissa, I had to pay $600 because of you. Me, you had to pay $600 because you needed a sitter. Melissa, I wouldn't have needed one if you'd helped. Me, I had plans. Melissa, plans you could have changed. Me, so could you. The dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then Mom jumped in. Mom, Owen, this attitude is unacceptable. We raised you to help family. Me, I do help. Just not this weekend. Mom, when it's convenient for you, you mean. I felt Claire's hand on my shoulder. Put the phone down. They're not going to stop. I know. So stop engaging. She was right. I locked the phone and set it face down on the table. We spent the rest of Sunday hiking. Swimming. Pretending my phone wasn't vibrating every 15 minutes with another guilt trip. By the time we drove home that evening, I had 73 unread messages. I didn't open them. Monday at work, I kept my phone on silent. Checked it at lunch. More of the same. Melissa, I'm seriously hurt by this. Mom, we need to talk about your priorities. And Carol, I never thought you'd be the type to abandon family. The word abandon made me laugh out loud in the break room. Abandon. Like I'd left them stranded on a desert island instead of just living my life. I closed the messages and got back to work. That night, Claire ordered pizza. We ate on the couch and watched some mindless reality show about people buying houses they couldn't afford. They're still texting, I said. I know. How do you know? Because I can see your jaw clenching every time your phone vibrates. I smiled despite myself. Am I that obvious? You're that obvious. I set my phone on the coffee table. I don't know what they want from me. An apology. For what? For prioritizing yourself. For saying no. For existing outside their control. That hit harder than I expected. You think that's what this is about? Claire looked at me. Owen, when was the last time you said no to your family? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know. Exactly. You've spent your entire adult life being available. Being helpful. Being the good son, the good brother, the good uncle. And the one time you set a boundary, they lose their minds. So what do? You keep the boundary. And you let them be mad. For how long? For as long as it takes. Tuesday, I muted the group chat. Didn't leave it. Just muted it. Let them talk. Let them vent. Let them be mad. I didn't owe them a response. Wednesday, Melissa called. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. Voicemail. A third time. I turned my phone off. That evening, Claire and I went for a walk around the neighborhood. No phones. No distractions. Just us talking about nothing important. When we got back, I turned my phone on. 6 missed calls. 12 texts. And 1 voicemail from my dad that started with, "Your mother is very upset, and frankly, so am I." I deleted it without listening to the rest. By Friday, I'd been radio silent for almost a week. And apparently, that was unacceptable. Because Friday night at 7:14 p.m., there was a knock at my door. Loud. Insistent. The kind of knock that says, "I know you're in there." I looked through the peephole. Melissa. Mom. Dad. All three of them, standing on my porch like some kind of intervention squad. I turned to Claire. "They're here." "All of them?" "All of them." She crossed her arms. "You don't have to open the door." "I know." But I opened it anyway. Melissa didn't wait for an invitation. She walked right in, Mom and Dad following behind her. "We need to talk," Melissa said. "Clearly." Mom looked around the living room like she was inspecting it. "You haven't been answering your phone." "I've been busy." "Too busy for family?" "Too busy for guilt trips." Dad stepped forward. "Owen, we didn't come here to argue." "Then why did you come?" Melissa pulled out her phone. Opened her banking app. Shoved it in my face. This is why." I looked at the screen. A transaction. $600. Labeled, emergency childcare. "Okay," I said. "Okay? That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say?" "I want you to apologize. I want you to admit you screwed me over." "I didn't screw you over." I said. "No. There's a difference. You could have helped. So could a lot of people. But you called me." And I said no. "That's allowed." Mom stepped in. "Owen, this isn't about the money. It's about respect. It's about being there when family needs you. I am there. Just not every single time you ask. That's not how family works." "Then maybe we need to redefine family." The room went quiet. Dad cleared his throat. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I'm tired of being the backup plan. The emergency contact. The guy you call when you need something but never check on otherwise." Melissa scoffed. "That's not fair." "Isn't it? When was the last time you called me just to talk? When was the last time any of you asked how I was doing without needing something?" Silence. That's what I thought. Mom's voice went cold. "So that's it? You're just going to turn your back on us?" "No. I'm just not going to drop everything every time you ask. I have a life. I have a wife. I have plans. And I'm allowed to prioritize those. Even if it costs your sister $600? I looked at Melissa. Really looked at her. At the phone in her hand. At the righteous anger in her eyes. And then I said the thing I should have said a week ago. Yes. Even then. They left 10 minutes later. Mom muttered something about disappointment on her way out. Dad didn't say anything at all. Melissa slammed the door hard enough to rattle the frame. I stood there in the entryway, heart pounding, hands shaking slightly. Claire walked over and wrapped her arms around me. "You okay?" "I think so." "That was brave." "That was terrifying." "Same thing." I laughed, shaky but genuine. "What happens now?" "Now? They'll probably give you the silent treatment for a while. And then they'll either accept it or they won't. And if they don't?" She pulled back and looked at me. "Then you'll know where you stand. And you'll build a life around people who actually respect you." I kissed her forehead. "When did you get so wise?" "I married you, didn't I? Can't be that wise." We laughed. Ordered Thai food. Watched another bad reality show. And my phone stayed silent for the rest of the night. Which should have felt like a victory. But mostly it just felt empty. 2 months of silence. Not a single text. Not one phone call. No accidental likes on social media. Nothing. It was like I'd been erased from the family registry. At first it stung. I'd checked my phone expecting something, an olive branch, an apology, even another guilt trip. But there was nothing. Just the deafening quiet of people who'd decided I wasn't worth their time anymore. Claire noticed. Of course she noticed. "You okay?" she asked one morning over coffee. "Yeah. Just weird, you know? 2 months and not a word. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe. But it didn't feel good. It felt like I'd lost something, even if that something had been slowly poisoning me for years. Work helped. I threw myself into projects, stayed late, volunteered for assignments nobody else wanted. My boss noticed. Said I was really stepping up lately. What I didn't tell him was that I was stepping up because I had nowhere else to go. No Sunday dinners. No random, "Can you help me move this couch?" text from Melissa. No guilt-laden phone calls from Mom. Just space. And in that space, something strange happened. I started to breathe easier. Week 9, Claire and I went to her parents' house for dinner. Her mom made lasagna. Her dad told the same story about fixing a lawnmower in 1987 that he always told. Her younger brother showed us pictures of his new puppy. It was normal. Easy. No tension. No subtext. On the drive home, Claire asked, "You having fun?" "Yeah, actually. Your family's nice. They like you?" "I like them too." She smiled. "You know what's different about my family?" "What?" "They don't keep score. They don't treat love like it's conditional. You help when you can, and when you can't, nobody guilt trips you about it." I hadn't thought about it that way, but she was right. Her family had never made me feel like I owed them something. Never weaponized kindness. Never kept a running tally of favors unreturned. "That must be nice," I said. "It is. And you deserve that too." I reached over and squeezed her hand. For the first time in months, I felt like maybe I was going to be okay. Week 10 brought the first crack in the silence. A text from Melissa. Just one line. "Melissa, the kids miss you." I stared at it for a full minute. Not, "I miss you." Not, "We need to talk." Just, "The kids miss you." It was manipulative. I knew it was manipulative. Using the kids as leverage was her specialty. But it still worked. Because I did miss them. I missed their chaos and their sticky hands and the way they'd run to the door screaming, "Uncle Owen!" when I showed up. I typed out 3 different responses. Deleted all of them. Finally settled on, "I miss them too." 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then nothing. She didn't respond. Just left it hanging there like an unanswered question. Claire saw me staring at my phone. "Is that them?" "Melissa. She says the kids miss me." "Of course she does. Should I respond?" "You already did, didn't you?" I nodded. She sighed. "Just be careful, okay? This could be a trap. Or it could be an olive branch." "With your family?" "It's probably a trap disguised as an olive branch." She wasn't wrong. Week 11, I got a call from my dad. I almost didn't answer. But something told me I should. "Hello?" "Owen. It's Dad." "Hey." Awkward silence. The kind that stretches out until someone has to fill it just to make the discomfort stop. "How've you been?" he asked. "Fine. You?" "Good. Good." More silence. "Dad, why are you calling?" He cleared his throat. "Your mom's birthday is coming up. Next Saturday. We're having a small thing at the house. Thought you might want to come." A small thing. That's what they always called it. A small thing that turned into 3 hours of passive-aggressive comments and loaded questions. "I don't know, Dad. It would mean a lot to your mother." Would it? Or would it just give everyone another chance to tell me how selfish I am? Nobody's going to say that. They already did. Silence again. Longer this time. "Look," he finally said. "I know things got heated. But it's been 2 months. Don't you think it's time to move past it?" Move past it. Dad, nobody's apologized. Nobody's even acknowledged that maybe, just maybe, I had a right to say no. We're family, Owen. We don't hold grudges. You've been giving me the silent treatment for 2 months. That's not. He stopped. Started again. We were giving you space. That's not what space is. Space is respectful. This was punishment. I could hear him breathing on the other end. Heavy, frustrated. "Are you coming or not?" "I'll think about it." "Don't think too long. Your mother's been through enough." And he hung up. I sat there, phone in hand, feeling like I'd just been scolded for something I didn't do. Claire looked up from her book. "Let me guess. They want you to come to something. Mom's birthday. Are you going?" I don't know. Part of me wants to. Part of me knows it's a terrible idea. Then don't go. Or go and leave the second it gets uncomfortable. You're allowed to set terms, Owen. They won't like that. They don't like anything you do. So you might as well do what makes you comfortable. She had a point. I didn't decide until Friday night. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, running through scenarios in my head. If I went, they'd either pretend nothing happened or ambush me with accusations. If I didn't go, I'd be the villain again. The son who couldn't even show up for his mother's birthday. Either way, I lost. Screw it, I said out loud. Claire rolled over. Screw what? I'm going. But we're going together. And we're leaving the second it gets weird. Define weird. You'll know it when you see it. She smiled. Okay. But I'm driving. That way we can leave whenever we want. Deal. Saturday afternoon, we pulled up to my parents' house. There were already 4 cars in the driveway. Which meant this wasn't a small thing. This was the whole thing. I looked at Claire. You ready? Are you? No. Then let's get this over with. We walked up to the door. I knocked. Nobody answered. I knocked again. Finally, the door opened. Melissa. Holding a glass of wine. Wearing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Owen. You came. Yeah. And you brought Claire. How nice. She said nice, like it was a 4-letter word. We walked in. The living room was full. Mom, Dad, Aunt Carol, Uncle Jim, Melissa's husband Todd, the kids running around with juice boxes. Everyone stopped talking when we entered. Mom stood up. Owen. Hey, Mom. Happy birthday. Thank you for coming. It sounded rehearsed. Like she'd practiced it in the mirror. Of course. Awkward silence. Everyone staring. Waiting. Aunt Carol broke it. Well, this is nice. The whole family together again. Almost. Melissa muttered under her breath. I ignored it. Walked over to the couch. Sat down. Claire sat next to me, her hand finding mine under the cushion. The conversation slowly resumed. Small talk. Weather. Someone's new car. Melissa's kids' report cards. Nobody mentioned the elephant in the room. Until dessert. Mom brought out the cake. Vanilla with buttercream frosting. Her favorite. We sang happy birthday. She blew out the candles. Made a wish. And then, while everyone was eating cake, she looked at me. Owen, can I talk to you? In the kitchen? It wasn't really a question. I stood up. Followed her. Claire gave me a look that said, I'll be right here if you need me. In the kitchen, Mom closed the door. Crossed her arms. I'm glad you came. You said that already? I mean it. Okay. She sighed. This is hard for me, Owen. I don't like how things ended between us. Neither do I. Then why did you let it go on for so long? I stared at her. I let it go on. Mom, you're the one who stopped talking to me. Because you hurt your sister. You hurt this family. I said no to babysitting. That's not the same as hurting anyone. You left her with no options. She had options. She just didn't like them. Mom's jaw tightened. You used to be so helpful. So dependable. I don't know what happened to you. I set a boundary. That's what happened. Boundaries. She said it like it was a curse. You and your generation with your boundaries. When I was raising you kids, I didn't have the luxury of boundaries. I did what needed to be done. And I appreciate that. But I'm not you. And I'm not required to sacrifice everything just because someone asks. Even when it's family? Especially when it's family. Because you're the people who are supposed to understand when I can't. She looked away. I don't know how to talk to you anymore. You could start by listening. Silence. Then she opened the door. We should get back to the party. I followed her out. The cake tasted like cardboard. We left an hour later. Melissa walked us to the door. Thanks for coming. Yeah. She paused. The kids really did miss you. I miss them too. Maybe you could come by sometime. See them. Maybe. But I knew I wouldn't. Not unless something changed. And nothing was going to change. In the car, Claire asked, "How bad was it?" She said I hurt the family. Said I used to be dependable. And what did you say? That I set a boundary. That I'm allowed to. And she walked away. Claire reached over and squeezed my hand. "I'm proud of you." "For what?" "For not backing down. For standing your ground even when it was hard." I looked out the window. Watched the houses blur past. Doesn't feel like a victory. It's not supposed to. Boundaries don't feel good at first. They just feel necessary. She was right. And as we drove home, I realized something. I'd spent my whole life waiting for my family to see me. To value me. To respect me. But maybe it was time to stop waiting. And start building a life where I didn't need their approval to feel whole. 3 weeks after Mom's birthday, they showed up again. Unannounced. On a Tuesday evening. Right as Claire and I were sitting down to dinner. The knock was sharp. Demanding. The kind that says, "We need to talk right now." I looked at Claire. She looked at the door. Then back at me. "Don't answer it," she said. "They'll just keep knocking." Then let them. But I couldn't. Some deeply ingrained part of me, the part that had been trained since childhood to always answer when family called, couldn't just ignore them. I opened the door. Melissa. Holding her phone. Face red. Eyes blazing. Behind her, Mom and Todd. No Dad this time. Just the three of them, looking like they'd come to serve me papers. "We need to talk," Melissa said. "Hello to you too. Can we come in? Actually, we're in the middle of..." She pushed past me. Mom and Todd followed. Claire stood up from the table. "Owen? It's fine," I said, even though it clearly wasn't. Melissa turned to face me, phone already out. "Do you know how much we've spent on babysitters since you refused to help?" "Here we go." "No. And I don't need to." $3,000, Owen. $3,000. She showed me her phone. A spreadsheet. Color-coded. With dates, amounts, and names of sitters. It was actually impressive in its pettiness. "Okay," I said. "Okay? That's all you have to say? What do you want me to say? That I'm sorry you have to pay people to watch your kids? Because I'm not." Mom stepped forward. "Owen, this has gone on long enough." "What has?" This selfishness. This refusal to help your own family." "I'm not refusing to help. I'm refusing to be on call 24/7 for emergencies that aren't emergencies." Melissa scoffed. "So my work conference wasn't an emergency?" "No. It was a scheduling conflict that you should have planned for." "I did plan for it. My sitter cancelled. And that's not my problem. We're family." "It should be your problem." Claire moved to stand next to me. "Actually, it shouldn't. Owen has a life. We have plans. He's allowed to say no." Melissa turned on her. "Stay out of this. This is family business." "I am family," Claire said, voice cold. "I'm his wife. And watching you people treat him like your personal assistant for the last 7 years has been exhausting." The room went quiet. Todd cleared his throat. "Maybe we should all calm down. Maybe you should learn to budget for childcare." Claire shot back. "Like every other parent on the planet." Melissa's face went crimson. "Excuse me? You have 3 kids. Childcare is part of that deal. You don't get to outsource it to Owen for free whenever it's convenient. He's their uncle. And he's also a human being with his own life. One that doesn't revolve around you." I'd never heard Claire like this. Sharp. Defensive. Protective. And I loved her for it. Mom held up her hands. "This isn't productive. We came here to solve a problem." "What problem?" I asked. "The money, Owen. $3,000. We think it's fair that you contribute to these costs since you're the reason we had to hire sitters in the first place." I blinked. "You want me to pay you $3,000? It's only fair." "Fair? How is that fair?" "Because if you'd help like family is supposed to, we wouldn't have these expenses." I laughed. actually laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so absurd I couldn't process it any other way. So let me get this straight. You want me to reimburse you for babysitters you chose to hire because I said no to free labor? It's not free labor when it's family, Mom said. Yes, it is. It's literally free labor. That's exactly what it is. Melissa thrust her phone closer. Look at these numbers, Owen. Look at what your refusal cost us. I looked. Really looked. September 14th, $150. September 21st, $200. September 28th, $175. October 5th, $180. On and on. Every weekend. Every random Tuesday. Every last minute. Emergency. And I realized something. This wasn't about the money. This was about control. You know what? I said, voice calm. I'm not paying you a dime. Melissa's jaw dropped. What? Not 1 cent? Not now, not ever. Owen. No. You want to know why? Because this. I gestured at her phone, at all of them standing in my living room. This is exactly why I said no in the first place. That doesn't make any sense. Mom said. It makes perfect sense. You don't see me as a person. You see me as a resource. Someone to use when you need something and ignore when you don't. That's not true, Melissa said, but her voice wavered. Really? When was the last time you called me just to talk? When was the last time any of you asked how I was doing without needing something? Silence. That's what I thought. So no, I'm not paying for your babysitters. You made choices. You deal with the consequences. Just like I'm dealing with mine. Which are what? Mom asked. Apparently, losing my family. But you know what? I think I'm okay with that. The words hung in the air, heavy and final. Mom's face went pale. You don't mean that. I do. Because this. I gestured around. This isn't family. Family doesn't show up demanding money because you dared to have boundaries. Family doesn't guilt-trip you for living your own life. Family doesn't keep score. Everyone keeps score, Melissa said quietly. Not healthy families. Not the ones worth keeping. Todd shifted uncomfortably. Maybe we should go. Yeah, I said. Maybe you should. Nobody moved at first. Then Mom straightened her purse strap. If this is how you want it. I don't want it anyway. I just want to exist without feeling guilty for it. She walked to the door. Melissa followed, still clutching her phone like it was evidence in a trial. Todd hung back. For what it's worth. I think you're right. But I can't say that out loud. Then maybe you should. He shook his head. Good luck, man. And they left. The door closed. The apartment was quiet except for the hum of the fridge and the distant sound of traffic. Claire walked over and wrapped her arms around me. You okay? I don't know. That was a lot. Yeah. We stood there for a while. Just holding each other. Did I do the right thing? I asked. What do you think? I think I just lost my family. You lost people who treated you like an ATM with legs. That's different. I pulled back and looked at her. When did you get so good at this? I've had practice. My family's not perfect either. But they taught me something important. What's that? That love isn't supposed to feel like a debt you can never repay. The next few weeks were strange. No texts. No calls. No surprise visits. Just silence. But this time, it felt different. Not empty. Just quiet. I started sleeping better. Stopped checking my phone every 5 minutes. Stopped feeling guilty for having plans on weekends. Claire and I booked another cabin trip. Different place, same idea. And this time, when we turned off our phones for the weekend, I didn't worry about what we'd find when we turned them back on. Because I already knew. Nothing. And that was okay. For months after the confrontation, I ran into Melissa at the grocery store. She was in the produce section, examining avocados like they held the secrets of the universe. Her kids weren't with her. I almost turned around. Almost pretended I didn't see her. But something made me stop. Hey, I said. She looked up. Startled. Owen. Hi. How are you? I'm good. You? Good. Awkward silence. The kind where you both know you should say something but don't know what. The kids ask about you sometimes, she finally said. Yeah? Yeah. I tell them you're busy. That's probably fair. She set down an avocado. Look, I know things got messy. And I know I said things I shouldn't have. Yeah. I'm not apologizing. I don't think I was wrong. I know. She looked at me. Really looked at me. But I do miss you. For what that's worth. It's worth something. Not enough to pay us $3,000? She smiled slightly. I laughed despite myself. Not even close. Figured. We stood there for another moment. I should go, she said. Todd's waiting in the car. Okay. She started to walk away. Then stopped. Owen? Yeah? You're not selfish. I was wrong about that. You're just not ours anymore. She said it matter-of-factly. Not mean. Not sad. Just honest. I was never yours, I said gently. I was just nearby. She nodded. Grabbed her cart. Left. I watched her go. And for the first time since this whole thing started, I didn't feel angry or guilty or sad. I just felt free. That night, Claire asked me about it. How'd it go? It was okay. She said I'm not selfish. But that I'm not theirs anymore. How do you feel about that? Relieved, mostly. Like I can finally stop waiting for them to understand. Do you think they ever will? No. But that's okay. Because I understand. And that's enough. She kissed my forehead. I'm proud of you. For what? For choosing yourself. For not backing down. For building the life you wanted instead of the one they expected. I smiled. We built it. Not just me. Okay. We built it. And it's pretty great. It is. We ate dinner. Watched a movie. Went to bed at a reasonable hour. And when my phone buzzed with a notification, I didn't even look. Because whatever it was, it could wait. My life didn't revolve around emergencies anymore. It revolved around moments. Quiet ones. Happy ones. Ones I chose. And that was more than enough.